Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, host Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland, off hitting exciting 1 vs 1 on La Gleize, soon to be rotated out. Between the south, you got here Redxwings, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, die Feldherrnhalle, Panzergrenadierdivision versus the north, we got Decob92, fighting for the Soviet Union, the Socialism, the Second Guards, Mechanized Corps. Heading out for a conscript start there. He's got Lend-Lease, Partisans, and Cyprus Army Trouble Infantry versus Redwings, Festung Support, Spearhead, Machine Gun, and Mortar Half-Tech Bulletins, plus Panzerfaust. Redwings is obviously intending something with Mortar Half-Tracks. What is that, we'll have to see. So far, though, it's rather looking like a tier 2 rush, because he's going for only Pioneers and MG42s here versus Deco90 or B92, exclamation mark. There we go, start rushing him to moving up. Engineers occupying the church. Engineers, MG42 slowing up there. They'll be sort of setting up around here. That'll probably be a win for the MG42. Since at this range, because the comps aren't being suppressed, the MG42 will overall do more damage. That's an important thing to keep out with machine guns. A lot of them tend to show a bit of a drop off in damage because the units get suppressed, and when they're suppressed, they take less damage for a while. But if they're inside a building, they'll take full damage all the while. It's also why in the MG42 versus Vickers fight, unless the MG42 really gets a drop, the Vickers will automatically win because it just does so much more damage than the MG42. But there you go, Pioneers getting a good hit in the conscript before setting up there. Pioneers moving in as the MG42 sets in the next house, ready to support the Pioniere of the Feldherrnhalle. With 3 Pioneers there, so looks like that is his mix, a heavy Pioneer build with a few machine guns, maybe 1, maybe 2, and then fast tech. Meanwhile, Deco B92, I think, making the right decision, trying to avoid this push here from Redwings. Though the Instaff has not secured his fuel point as of yet. Might not have been intentional, of course, he might not have been expecting Redwings to play his MG42 this aggressively. And obviously, if your opponent plays the MG42 this aggressively, he might catch some players off guard and can lastly prove to be quite efficient. And meanwhile, Redwings is building a fuel cache here. So he's clearly planning for a rush here. And he's also hoping his opponent does not play around his MG42, because if he does that, Redwings is in for a really rough time. So far, no sign of anything serious happening. In fact, he's just keeping a conscript, then still trying to push around here, maybe cut some points off, though, of course. It's going to be a lot harder with the fuel cache on the cutoff point for the fuel point here. So we'll have to see how he reacts. He moves towards the fuel point, and they'll still need to get the point back here as well. Conscript can do that rapidly. Pioneers falling back, support the MG42, spot and make sure any surprises do not happen. Back here, tech going on for Redwings and the Feldherrnhalle, Panzergrenadierdivision, named after, well, the place where the putsch happened, the Feldherrnhalle. Actually, I think it was a meeting place for the original sort of big, back in the early days there. It was formed up of old SA or Sturmabteilung members. That was the predecessor essentially to the SS. Before that was sort of disbanded, as its leader, Ernst Römer, was rather falling out of grace, and the SA was starting to look a bit too questionable. But as the war went on, obviously, they sort of found themselves lacking in manpower and began recruiting in that regard, tried to form an elite division formed up of old SA members. There was also a Panzer Brigade, the 107th Panzer, 6th actually, Panzer Brigade Feldherrnhalle, which served on the Western Front. The 2 units were never to meet, by the way. It's a little fun fact there. MG42 versus conscripts here, fuel point connected here for Deco B9242, but nonetheless he will be falling behind Redwings and the Feldherrnhalle as he quickly builds up a light mechanized company there for Germany. 4 conscripts out here for Deco. No sign of mortars, so you can try and launch an assault here, catching the MG42 off guard. That should actually be pretty easy to do if he decides to do so, but so far Deco's just there trying to avoid the MG42, just keeping occupied here with the conscripts, while the other conscripts will then secure the rest of the map here from Redwings, and so far are doing largely alright in that department. But I still feel like this conscript squad is being way too passive. It might even be forgotten, but he's doing more damage. He could be hitting the fuel point, he could be hitting elsewhere, but it might be he's worried about Redwings' guard elsewhere, which of course means Redwings' small force is actually holding a surprisingly large amount of map. But there you go, bringing up some more infantry, some actual infantry this time around, some Panzergrenadiere with a Sturmgewehr 44. That would also be the Sturmgewehr 45, which saw, well, I don't know actually if it saw use. There was some made, in a sense, at least the parts were made from, it's like 1945, and essentially sort of a more effective assault rifle. In fact, I think it was the basis for a lot of Heckenkock. I can't remember the later assault rifles and like than the Germans made after the war, when they sort of were about to make their own. So Little fun fact there. Concentrating up behind the pioneers here. Panzers are going to be moving up the west. The two controls the pioneers, and then there's this one Panzer Grenadier squad. I mean, he couldn't really pull it off. It's going to require some excellent maneuvering here from Redxwings and his Panzer Grenadiers to somehow be able to isolate the conscript squads and then deal with them. Because, like, if you just charge them, it's going to be a loss. There you go, going for the conscript squad here, much better engagement. He's going to need a bun grenade, I think, to have the best chance. And there you go, also already dead in service of the fatherland. Harassment on the fuel point in the east, good work, but he's losing the western fuel point here to Decob92. Meanwhile, Redxwings they're going for the second Panzer Grenadier squad, more hardened men of the Feldherrnhalle. Pioneers reinforcing, there you go, second Panzer Grenadier squad on the way. With more Sturmgewehr. As for Decob92, we got field infirmary up there, but we got no upgrades for them as of yet. And no sign of doctrine. Oh, there you go. We got Festung support for Redxwings. Hello. That is probably a doctrine I have not seen in at least a year, if not more. We might talk 2 to 3 years, if not even more than that. Like, it was really only used in the earliest, bits there, because it was one of the few doctrines that were. But as soon as it got enough doctrines, it completely dropped off the radar. Like, the sort of, I mean, the different abilities just don't really sort of offer a lot there, and the mortar after is sort of, questionable, but it preferably just wants something with a bit more sort of cohesive force here, and that's sort of the problem. It's a lot of support abilities, but they just don't build towards anything specific, and I would say Sector to this, as it currently stands, is probably even overcosted. We got a discount on the way they lent these up for Decob92. Mortar following up this, Roadtrip's gone for the support company, which also means he can, of course, bring in field guns, which means any armor rush from Redxwings is going to be troublesome. But hello, we got the mortar half track. Based on the 250 half track. There's also one for the 251 half track. By the way, this one obviously part of any sort of reconnaissance elements. So we'll fight artillery support for them. Pioneers need to be careful. But a lot of mortar fire now spreading across the map here from both sides. MD42 Panzer Grenadier Pioneer here, sort of scarring the centre of the map here as they push ahead for the fatherland, ready to push out any rations. But the MD42 will need to fall back. It's taking heavy fire here from Decob92's mortar. At the same time, we've got to push here for the carve point, the cache, but the cache is surprisingly bulletproof. Harassment on the eastern side as it goes for the fuel point there again. Good work there by Redxwings, and we got Telemines as well. The most aggressive Telemines actually laid down. They'd missed by Redxwings earlier. Very good work there, certainly. That's going to make it harder for Deco to just push out a tank, particularly it doesn't have any minesweepers. It's only light tank half track, where from 6 flag to get blown apart there. Very sneaky and very decisive manning there from Redxwings. Very nice to see. And the meanwhile, Panzers they're pushing for the cuff point near to the base. In this case, there's sandbags on it, even making it even easier for the Panzers to do it. Shoddy workmanship on these sandbags. Yeah, it's mostly dirt anyways, and I'm pretty sure half of these sandbags are empty anyways. Panzers they're pushed away. Still aggressive pushes there. And Redxwings in this case just sort of looking for weak spots, hitting them hard, and of course just looking to sort of force Decob92 into engagement that don't in particular favour him, which is definitely, I think, a neat way of doing it. More touch seems to have been spotted there by the conscript move in. Might try and hunt it down. Do not have any anti-tank grenades yet. You might also, of course, consider taking up soon enough to bring out some light vehicles to pressure Redxwings harder, though, of course, again, there's the Telemine surprise from Redxwings. Halfway to Veteran 1 and the mortar half track. Conscript Disco standing about there. So again, with a few sort of decisive strikes here from Redxwings, he's managed to gain most of the map, but first hitting the sort of vital points, and then his opponent rushes to kill them. He then grabs the rest of the map. Overall, a tactically neat maneuver there. We got the incendiary barrage there from the mortar half track, lighting the house on fire, forcing the Russians out, and of course then beginning to shoot at other Russians. And a pack 40 there for Redxwings. He's taking absolutely no chance there in case of a vehicular rush there from Decob92. He wants the Panzerabwehrkanone gefechtsbereit. U42 running up there, 5 kills, Redxwings 1, Pioneer scoring points here. Panzer Grenadier working there as well to secure more territory for das Vaterland. More engineers for Decob. We'll should be getting a minesweeper on those, by the way. He's definitely getting a minesweeper on those. That he's probably going to take up then. I mean, it's definitely too early to try and set up for the infantry show. That would just be complete and utter folly. I mean, that's not even just putting the cart before the horse. That's just not even getting a horse and just somehow imagining the cart will propel itself through the sheer power of hopeful wishing. There goes into the disco. Panzer pushed back. Ooh, rather close to the telemine there. He might accidentally set it off there. 10% command up. No mines for those engineers. There you go. Panzer getting the conscripts. Sturmgewehr fire there, raining out. And Morts. Okay, so Redwings is laying down the smoke and they've been doing nothing. It might have been a diversion, I guess. Molotov against the Panzer. They need to retreat. They need to retreat. They're very low on health there. It would be a shame to throw them away like that. MD-42 going the western approach. And here, Pioneers being pursued by conscript east. Pioneers moving up with minesweepers and Flammenwerfers. Redwings is taking no chances with the mines, whereas again, Deco apparently could never imagine in his wildest dreams the Germans would go for mines. But the Germans, they're my friends. I mean, we're fighting with them, and they're committing genocide, but they would never build mines against me. Trust me, comrade. I'm not. No, I'm not a fascist. It's just this spiritual sense. No, I'm not a kulak. Just trust me, okay? I don't need minesweepers. Redwings, meanwhile, taking a hit there for armour. Decker there is going to need an SU-6 then to sort of help deal with his goals. He's going to get a field gun, I think. And he's obviously going to need a minesweeper. Again, he doesn't know that, but we know that. We know it. Fuel driver in there for Deco. That's going to help a bit. That's going to help. Interesting enough. Oh, there we go. We got some infantry about. So he's just abandoning the space as he's getting fuel in there. But there you go. I think over here what Deco's doing is actually the wiser choice. He's not trying to attack from here again, where he's expecting more persistence. He's not pushing westwards, trying to outmaneuver Redwings that way, which might just have more luck there for him. We shall see, of course. The disco that needs to get out. That's about to get wiped out. And mortar half-tech fire here from Redwings. So far, 4 kills, close to 1 Panzer. They're trying to block off the Russian assault. Need to pop a bomb grenade in their path of advance. Otherwise, they're going to have to retreat there because they're not going to stand a chance with their assault rifles. So they might get a near wipe there. Yup, small victory there for Redwings. Still no minesweepers Deco. Only fuel cache is grabbed. Redwings there is building up the support core. He'll be able to rush out Nussman here versus Deco B92, who's about to get us into there. He needs to hit the fuel pond faster. I mean, he's obviously expecting a counterattack here, I think, but even then, I can't help but feel he's just not being aggressive enough here versus Redwings. There you go. Finally ground the fuel. Can go for the T-70, can go for the SU-6. Obviously, depends on what he's actually anticipating from Redwings. Then, considering the old state of the resources, SU-6 would be a really good choice. But he is apparently not anticipating Redwings, despite the fuel cuts, despite all the fuel harassment, could be trying to rush out some armour. Again, Deco B92 has an awful lot of faith in Redwings to not doing certain things. Pioneers Panzers moving up. They need to retreat the counter squad now. Troops pushing up, comes right, and there we go. We've got the T-70 out here. Now, oh, it's got a minesweeper. He's got a minesweeper. There we go. So we'll be able to spot the mines there. Of course, there's going to be some nasty jams about there, making it a lot harder for him to, disarm the tiller mines. But at least he spotted them. At least he spotted them. They still needs to be careful around them. Big push on the west. They come trying to deal with the Pioneers, supported by a Panzer Grenadier squad. They're not even in cover, the conscripts, so they're somewhat easy targets to a degree, particularly the ones low on health. And he wasn't able to get rid of the telemines. Oh, there we go. He was able to destroy them before anything else could work. But he needs to get his T-70 moving. He needs to get him moving fast. I mean, right now his advantage is Redwings. Besides the Pack 4, not really got any sort of anti-tank. More importantly, he's got no snares. He's got no way of slowing down and disabling the T-70 light tank, which means his T-70's got a lot of ability to roam about and hit the German infantry. You can see Redwings here. He's going in aggressively again. He's not just stopping up there. He's pushing ahead for the fatherland. Assault rifles in hand. Sturmgruppe Otto advances For Deutschland! Otto, though, himself dies. He's going to need to get the T-70 down to stop the Panzers as fast. Meanwhile, Redxwings going for the Panzer IV. Another discount here for Deco. He's got no field guns. He's got no anti-tank for the Panzer IV that's about to hit him. Deco's about to have a very unpleasant day. Comrade, Commander, maybe we should consider some anti-tank weapons. No, yet, not possible, not needed. Just like the minesweepers weren't needed. Shut up, Pushkin. You're a real downer, you know. You're not really attributing that spirit of victory you should be. So right now, Deco's about to move from one unpleasant scenario to an even more unpleasant scenario as Redxwings Panzer IV strikes for the fatherland. Pioneers versus conscripts here. In the west, we got a really big push in machine guns, infantry, telemines, which he doesn't know are there. He's going to try and make a push for the fuel point. Now, I might like to draw away the Panzer IV from the eastern area here and prevent it from doing too much damage. We'll have to see though. Panzer sneaking about, they might try to prevent him from linking up any of these territories right away, hitting the sort of weak spot. Very good there. He might just decide to strike further behind and launch. That's going to be a bit risky. Ooh, Malta actually got wiped there. Of course, there's a slight detail that's that the T-7 is actually quite nearby, so if Redxwings isn't paying attention, that could get quite costly. Need to pull back the machine gun. So, nice manoeuvre there from Deco in the west. Nice manoeuvre. Though, of course, it means his east is quite exposed. But there we go. We got the Sis-3 out here for Deco. He could consider another one, though, of course. He is getting reasonably close to M4C Sherman, though. He should probably consider Alice supply drop at the very least to support it. Pioneers moving up here. We got air support in here. In this case, a smoke bomb drop in front of the heavy machine gun. Very nice move there. Supports the Panzer gun. It is advanced line and push for the fuel point. Even just go straight for the heavy machine gun and clear it out. So very nice manoeuvre there by Redxwings. Good use of the smoke bombs ability. Heavy machine gun crew trying to lock that thing away as they're getting pursued by the Panzer Grenadiers. Vengeance and sauerkraut in their hearts. They should probably have a doctor look at that second thing though. Pretty sure sauerkraut is not supposed to go there. But continued pressure here. Conscripts slightly falling back. Panzer moving westwards. Pushing for the eastern side though again. Conscripts and such can counterattack to deal with the Pioneers. So nonetheless, overall, I think they're going to make the overall most tactically sound decision. Rather than trying to regain the centre, just pushing into where Redxwings most likely has most of his defences focused. He looked for the weakest spot, which is the western side, hit him there, forcing Redxwings to respond, thinning out his forces, which could then leave him open for a bigger assault elsewhere. So overall, I would describe that as the tactically best solution. In this case, smoke bombs here to protect against the field gun, which you probably spotted somehow, and resolved to deal with. Very good work there by Redxwings. Good use of the smoke. In the east, though, Disco dealing with the Pioneers, cutting them down with accurate fire, or at least as accurate as a certain machine gunner can do. Got the pack forward here, ready to defend against any armoured breakthroughs through the centre of the map. Deco getting in close to the M4C Sherman, looks like he's just aiming for it. For the motherland. Right, which in the meanwhile can soon go for another Panzer IV. Of course, knowing what he's up against, he might want a Stug instead to provide better fire support versus the M4C Shermans. More telemines spotted. Redxwings been busy with the telemines, that's good. Not too busy, but you know, not doing anything either. Yeah, I have to find time in my schedule, you know. At 5 o'clock, I have to lay down telemines, you know. I'm very punctual about that. At 6 o'clock, I have to, you know, go in there and occupy the Sudetenland. That's caught by the M4 here. Nice position-ish. And again, note how he's doing this. Again, he's sort of, alright, I've got an idea where my opponent's field gun is. I'm going to flank with Panzer gunners. In this case, though, there's a fly in the ointment. There's the T-70 light tank. But again, you sort of got a reasonably good idea there of how Deco's positioning his stuff and how he wants to sort of punish it. In this case, there's a slight fly in the ointment for Redxwings, as he as well, where his water after he gets assaulted by conscripts, and he's actually likely to lose it, which would deprive Redxwings of his artillery piece for now, anyways. I mean, he's actually within the realm of a howitzer, which would certainly outclass the mortar half-track. There you go, another anti-tank grenade, and there you go, mortar half-track is down. I'm not entirely sure how much of worth investment it was there for Redxwings. I mean, it did some damage, but it never did any sort of seriously heavy, so I'm not entirely sure how much of worth it was, but at least it wasn't a bad purchase, but I'm not entirely sure it was a good purchase either. A bit hard to say. Oh, he actually has the howitzer already. By that outclasses anything Deco has, I mean, not what Redxwings has. Which, by the way, is not recruited this mortar yet at all. A very brave T-70 tanker, by the way, strikes at the T-70, flanking it. Strikes for the Panzers, they're keeping away there from the mortar, just in case they're going for Sherman out here for Deco. With the 76mm gun striking at the Panther 4. Good hit there. Another hit there. It's Panther 4 down to less than half health. Another Panther 4 on the way there for Redxwings. He's going for it. There you go. Pack forward though. Saving the hide here of the Panther 4. Sherman down to half health. Can't pursue anymore. Panzer continue up. They might be able to hit here. The heavy machine gun crew wipe it out. If Deco doesn't react in time. A quick raid here by Redxwings Sturmgruppe Otto. Well, actually, Sturmgruppe Hartmann in this case, since Otto has died. Why was he shooting out that window? Was anyone in there? So the Feldherrnhalle has been able to log in more artillery to the front line. It's also able to call in more Panzers to support the Panzergrenadier Division, which is actually more better equipped than most Panzergrenadier divisions. They can't quite remember if it actually had Panzer Force. I believe it actually had a Panther battalion, but I don't think it got Panzer Force. So of course, it could have received them from a nearby Panzer division or something like that. In fact, there were several divisions sent down to Hungary, and for some very curious reason, Guderian ordered them to separate all of the infantry from the Panzer divisions. I have a personal suspicion that's actually something that the Fuhrer ordered him to do, and he just sort of followed there because Guderian should have known that would not work out very well. It's either that or he was drunk. So a little fun side note there about the fighting in Hungary, and a little bit of what Guderian apparently did. I don't recall his memoirs mentioning it at all, so obviously he's not going to be a source on it. House down here to the howitzer. More engineers out here to help repair the tanks. Though of course we can also use his conscripts. Going for another mortar. Interesting enough, he's still not recruiting the one that's right in front of his base. Alright, Dimitri, we need new mortar. What about that mortar over there? It's dirty. It's a mortar tube. It touched the ground. All mortar tubes touch the ground. Oh, this side has touched it. You're an idiot. Pushing with a machine gun there with the smoke screen again. He's made good use of the smoke bombs. Panzer going to be swinging eastwards, but there you go, caught by the heavy machine gun team. He's going to need the Sherman and the field gun up here to have a chance in east, I think. Panzer 4 providing ample coverage for any infantry in the zone. And they're going to howitzer bash here at Decob92's base. In this case, most of the shots fly a bit too far to have any sort of serious impact upon Decob92's though forces. He's also got a lot of manpower floating. Could consider fuel cache 2 to that way provide more support for him down the road. Would not be a bad idea. There goes Sherman moving in here. Not a large issue in infantry though, missing I think a few golden opportunities to kill infantry. Actually, we can send the field gun there, but decided against it. Curious choice there by Decob92. Repositioning and reshuffling of forces in the west. T-70 supported by some infantry and heavy machine gun, but no anti-tank support. Deco, meanwhile, just continues to float fuel and manpower. Well, mostly manpower, really. Mine spotted, trying to get here with the T-70 Panther 4, dealing with the advancing Russian minesweeper troops. As they have no real way of stopping the tank unless maybe somehow they can wedge the minesweeper inside the tank and sort of intimidate the crew into thinking it's, you know, a bomb on a stick or something. I have a bomb on the stick! If you don't do what I'll say, I'll blow up the tank. Isn't that a minesweeper? No, yet, not a minesweeper. Bomb on the stick. New Soviet super weapon. Bomb on the stick. Stuke following up here. Another Sherman out there for Deco. Now it's only got more of an armoured force here. Though, of course, his issue is he's apparently split them up there, whereas Redxwings is coordinating his tanks into a larger, more disciplined armoured force. I still think he needs to recruit that mortar. Then he could smoke down here and launch an assault there, reclaiming the centre, and then more freedom to attack the western side, and then maybe catch the tanks off guard. There you go, Stu 3G arriving here for Redxwings. 2 Panzer horse there hanging back. Panzer Pack 46 been repositioned. Panzer is there filling the town square with Stormtrooper Hartmann is filling the town square. Sherman's now operating together, good. Only heavy machine gun to hold the eastern side. He's clearly preparing for another big push here. Minesweepers being sent in first, good. Infantry following up. Tanks waiting, I think, for the go sign before moving in there. Definitely not a bad tactical approach either. First engage with infantry. Then once we either sort of security is sort of going to deal with the rest of the forces up, rush in the Shermans. But there you go. Conscious walks into the east, wiped out. He's still got manpower floats. He needs to just replace some of them, which would not be a bad idea. But there you go. Infantry continues in the west of tanks, and the field guns so far remaining in reserve. He's yet to commit them. I think he's waiting for Redxwings to reveal his armour before he commits his tanks to the engagement. Oh no, yeah. Again, it seems like they are basically a tactical reserve. Alright, the tanks have revealed themselves. Just Deco commit his armour to counter the tanks, or is he waiting for some other signal? There we go. Tanks committed, field gun hanging back. Stuke in the east, Pack 40 moving towards the west here. He might have smelled what's going on. There you go. Ambushes the Sherman, getting off the first hit there. Very good, very good. Oh, got lucky there with the tank. Got very lucky. Need to pull. Oh, dear. Traffic jam there. Blocked the retreat path. One of the Shermans. That's always one thing you have to look out for. Traffic jams. Holy smokes, that Sherman got lucky, but there you go, luck has run out. The Stug is here. Show fear. Of course, he might lose the Stug, but he got the Sherman, and that Stug is definitely less worth than a Sherman. And he still has 2 Panzer Force in good condition. Still, that was a pretty neat arm engagement for both players. Certainly also highlighting that one of the biggest things that actually was important in an army engagement is basically whoever caught the other bastard first. Like, that was one of the major sort of defining features in any army engagement and who won it. Like, if you spotted the other bastard first, you were more likely to win it than anything else. I mean, sure, having a better tank helped, but you know, so more equal tanks sort of thing there. Just spotting the other bastard before he spots you was usually the big advantage. It was also one advantage the Germans had over Russian tank crews, because again, they tended to be buttoned up, the Germans were not, so that afforded them better vision. Panzer Force, they're pushing back the conscripts. One close to veteran, 2 in those Panzer Force. T-70 hanging back here. Needs to out the field gun. Going for another one there, good. He should have one out much sooner, to be honest. That would have done a lot of good there versus this Panzer Force, maybe the Stu. Smoke bomb starting again though. Good work by Redxwings. Thumbs up. Again, solid tactical use of smoke. Mostly defensive, but you know, it might evolve into offensive use of smoke tactically. One day. T-70 rolling into town here. Pack 40 maneuvering. Sicily, they're arriving. Hard to find where they're 12 kills. Still surprised he hasn't bothered recruiting that mortar. Oh dear, he's going to lose that T-70 there. Not entirely sure what he was thinking there, but yeah, that went down. Might have been a sign of frustration there from Deco92 that he's finally starting to crack under the pressure of Germany. Oh, you know, it was a misclick, who knows? There's not quite so much drama in a misclick as in, you know, snapping, brought to the brink of madness. Disco there, Panzer there. We got relief infantry now from Redxwings. He's actually now used 4 abilities out of 5 from the Doctrine. The only thing he hasn't used is sector artillery. For, well, very obvious reasons. Another discount there for Deco. He keeps calling it. He's not calling him more infantry. He's calling heavy machine gun. In part because the way they certain heavy machine guns obviously work, they're kind of like infantry squads anyway. They're just with a suppressor weapon added to them. Panzer they're halted. Bomb grenade off. Geballte Ladung. They said to the he's trying to go for it. Needs the field gun support. This champagne for covering fire, but they needs a bit more reach in the form of field guns. Heavy machine guns moving up the east. Got an Ostrom squad out here for Redxwings. In this case, some Hungarian infantry. Supporting here. Pioneers sneaking up the heavy machine gun team, very good work. Quick sprint. Artillery to try and silence Deco's mortar. Panzer IV's on the move. Again looking for easy targets with which to overwhelm with German firepower. And not get blasted by anti-tank guns. Panzer they're getting pulverized, doing support, pack following, but there's no infantry support for the tanks, so that's a bit risky here for Redxwings. Almost got the Panzer IV there with the field guns, low on health, also very close to Veteran 2 still. Continue pressing the west side here. And good hit from the Stug there on the Sherman. Back here, troops hitting reinforcing, Ostrom setting out. Got 2 squads of Ostrom out there. They've actually managed to get all 3 squads of Ostrom out of there as relief infantry, providing the Redxwings with an ample infantry reserve to help guard the less vital territory. And just buy time, or just use them as cannon fodder. Like, there's ample opportunities there to use the Ostrom in some way that benefits Germany. He'll probably try and call another Sherman here. He's got the resources. Panzer IV still awaiting repairs. There you go, set another Sherman out for Decob92. MD4 to his disc. In the west here we got Ostrom time with they came heavy suppressed here with the heavy machine gun team there. And then got some sprint on. Going for the centre victory point there. But losing the eastern one to Redxwings. Got the Panzer IV arriving. 12 kills. Veterans 1. Push back there, Sherman sitting out. Needs to get a bit more aggressive with his tanks. Obviously needs to support them infantry as well, which is currently what Deco's a bit lacking with increasingly. And Panzer they're striking, flanking out here the field gun. Veteran the 3-bar, they'll be able to make short work of it. Field gun take a hit, getting off some good hits on the Panzer IV. And there you go, wipe a small victory there for Redxwings and the Feldherrnhalle. Sherman setting out. Striking around the eastern side. It looks like he's getting on the offensive now. But without infantry support, anything deeper there, he might run into some issues. He's rushing ahead as well. They're looking for mines, I imagine. There you go. Spotting the Panzer IV there. Getting off some good hits with Stug opening up as well. He's just driving straight into it, getting pretty risky, but he's got prioritize the Stug, which is definitely the right choice. There's a Pack 40 also as well. Again, this is why he needed infantry support from here, in which case he could pressure the Pack 40, might have stolen it. Instead, he now risks losing it. Oh, he's got Panzer IV as well there. Sherman though goes down, but I mean, if you sort of consider the engagement, it's Sherman and a Stug. Stug and a Panzer IV for Sherman is not bad. Get the others. Oh, snap! He got all of his tanks. Problem is now he might not be able to get the Sherman out of there in time. Again, the lack of infantry support, yeah, rather did it. So again, remember infantry support, but otherwise, I mean, this is a good armoured assault, except for the lack of infantry support. I mean, he was able to destroy all of Redxwings' armour, and they'd be able to at least save one of those tanks and had the infantry support. He could have cleared out the Pack 40, which was one of the biggest threats, and then, well, he could have likely saved both Shermans. So that was over the major flaw here in Decob92's assaults, the lack of infantry support. But otherwise, a very well executed assault there. Again, it sort of took a longer path that over sort of struck from an angle which Redxwings was not ready for. Did a lot of damage. Oh, we even got a sector to. We got full commander bingo. Full commander bingo on festering support. That's like super bingo. Twice the payout. Of course, remember there are no prizes in commander bingo. Except, of course, that fulfilling feeling on the inside. Swing about the west side there. Field gunner hanging back, mortars firing away there, grabbing the eastern victory point. Redwings, of course, has been able to more easily replace his armoured losses compared to Deco. Again, the overall better map control makes that easier for obvious reasons. I would say it was actually pretty close there for Deco to have won again, had it just been sufficient in again. He was flooding a lot of manpower, he could easily just hack the country, he could have rushed in machines, he could have done a lot of things there. And sadly, he just never got around to it. He's also finally recruited second mortar, by the way. That also took long enough.
Enemy has broken our supply lines. We need order.
Austrian Panzer with Pioniere, Panzer 4. Panzer they're getting low on health, they got constantly using gain on max range, and there you go. Panzer gonna do a forced retreat on another Panzer 4 there for Redwings. Deco far from Germany, calling fuel drops though to maybe slowly work towards it. Well, at this rate, I think it's too late at this point. Machine gun there being flanked with the Panzer going to do some making very short work with the crew. 28 kills. Conscripts are the next on the menu. With of course the Austrian flying fire support. This one, this Deco B-92 surrenders. The second guards making us call husband defeated a victory here for the German army, the Feldherrnhalle, and the Festering support commander. And again, a big surprise. So there you go. I think a nice neat fight here on La Gleize. Highlight again just the power of tactical maneuver. The problem was just in many cases Deco was just too timid, too passive with it. So when he actually made some good maneuvers, they were just able to follow through on it properly and exploit any real potential. As Redwings just sort of looked for them, and he exploited. He kept hitting hard. At times so extending, but rather getting away with it. So that rather gave Redwings sort of long term the over advantage. But even then, I mean, Deco had chance with the promise every single time. He just didn't quite pull through properly again for some of the big armoured assault. There was no infantry support. Had there been infantry support, he would have been better off. Had he maybe also recruited the mortar, he would have been better off. There's a lot of things there, sort of a lot of small mistakes that's just sort of tallied up there. Whereas Redwings just sort of drove more aggressively, made less mistakes. But also just that aggression, that focus really helped him out there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and some feedback in the comment section. If you like what I do, consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Links are in the video description. This is Imperial Dancing. Cheers. A big thanks to all those who already supported me. And see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.